Good afternoon, Mr. Franklin. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I wanted to sit down and chat with you a little bit about your water day that you hosted last week in Austin. I saw on Facebook all the pictures, and it looks like you had a great time with the Andy Roddick Foundation teaching knot tying and looking at pond samples. So what part of the day did you enjoy the most?
I was probably interacting with the kids, getting younger kids involved in this kind of stuff, teaching them something new, getting them outdoors. And those that didn't know what the pond samples were going to be or what we were going to do, it was just exciting to see them get excited.
That's great. What part of the day did you think the students enjoyed the most?
I think it depended on the kids. Some of them enjoyed knot tying and learning how they could use that in maybe not everyday life, but use it in more situations than that they would have thought just coming into the class. And then others getting to do the pond samples and messing around with just seeing the things that are in the water. So I think we could have some future scientists out of this because of that.
That's great. Do you think it was great because they were hands-on lessons?
Definitely. I think getting, even for me and a lot of adults I know, getting them just trying to read something off to them, it's difficult for them to stay focused and really learn it. But then you get kids, or again adults, get their hands on the item. They just get more excited with it. They learn it better, and hopefully they'll retain it and maybe be able to teach other people about it too.
Oh, that's great. That's great. What were your learning objectives or projected outcomes for the project day? I should have prepped you on that part.
It was for them to have fun and get dirty. And
That's true. That's true. Because our objective here in the 4-H program is to have kids that are excited about the outdoors, and so part of that objective for the water day was to not only introduce them to different science principles, but get them outside and enjoying the outdoors, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic when everyone has been inside. The Texas 4-H and AgriLife Extension, some of our next priorities are getting kids outside. So,
yeah, that's super important to get them outside. I know them being stuck inside doing school was tough. Now it's summer and still not, for a while, not being able to get out, or being able to get outside but not in a group and do anything was tough on a lot of them. So getting them outside and in groups and interacting and learning is just an awesome thing to see.
I agree, and I think as we go forward, it's going to be important for us to continue to get kids outside.
Very.
Now, what do you think is one thing we could improve upon in the 4-H program in the future? And my next question leading into that is, what is something you think we could change or add for the next time?
Improve upon, I think things are pretty good. Maybe for this specifically, getting more equipment, so that they're not sharing as much. I don't see there's a problem with having two sharing one item so that they can learn from each other. But if you have probably more than 3 or 4 sharing one piece of rope or one test kit, it just gets to be too many, and you end up with some that just don't really get their hands on it as much. So I would say make sure there's plenty of equipment to hand out. And what was your?
That's a great question. I mean, that's a great point. That answers both of my questions. And then I think for the final thing for me is, what could I do to help you accomplish those goals to get more equipment?
That'll give me just the resources to be able to either your contact information, or if you have a source for getting the ropes are pretty easy, but maybe getting the funding for purchasing that and the test equipment. If you have, at times we'll need more volunteers to help, not necessarily have one-on-one, one adult to one kid, but a good ratio, because I'll have people that cycle in and out. So I could always use volunteers.
That's great. That's a great point. And that reminds me that there are grants that come up that I should be applying for, or at least getting a team together to apply for those grant monies for some of our programming needs and goals, would you be willing to work